If I was her, I would say, listen, you motherfuckers, okay? Let's take a chromosome test. I am not a man. I'm just a pedophile.
I'm just a pedophile. Yeah. What?
You were born a man and you will die a man. That's the point I'm making. So give us a sample. I'll send my doctors to take your blood. Figure it out real quick.
What is the Macrons thinking, though? Because I'm leaning more towards, and I don't know, I'm leaning more towards thinking, Candace, this is impossible for Candace not to be right about this.
You guys have heard me talk about Cove Pure before, and for a good reason. It's the best water purifier I have ever used. We have one right here in the headquarters that everybody on staff has an opportunity to use. That's how much we love this doggone thing. Cove Pure makes our water taste amazing. No sketchy contaminants, just pure, crisp water. But there's something that you might not have thought about, and it literally blew my mind when I thought about this. When people take meds, their bodies don't absorb it all, and a lot of the stuff gets flushed down the toilet. And guess what? Wastewater treatment plants aren't great at filtering out those leftover pharmaceuticals. That means there's a whole cocktail of trace meds, like actual drugs, that can end up in your drinking water. Stuff like antibiotics, antidepressant, and even hormone disruptors from things like birth control pills. And it's no wonder that our society is all messed up. Luckily, Cove Pure is lab certified to remove up to 99% of impurities, including pharmaceutical drugs. My wife and I have 2 boys, so we don't play around when it comes to our drinking water. And I tell you what, if we're gonna take meds, it's gonna be because the doctor told us to, not because our tap water is drugged up. Cove Pure gives us peace of mind that what we're drinking is actually water and nothing else. With Cove Pure, you get all of the benefits of those fancy full purifying systems that people install in their house. But with Cove Pure, there's no hassle, no plumbing, no drilling. You just fill the water in it and plug it in. Whether you like water hot, cold, warm, all you have to do is press a button. You won't take a stranger's drug prescriptions. Why accept leftovers in your water? Safe, clean drinking water is the best investment that you can make for you and your family. So make sure you use my link in the description section, covepure.com/Tatum right now. And for a limited time, you'll get $200 off your Cove Pure machine. So make sure you get yours today.
Let me say something, man. This Candace Owens and Bridget Macron thing is like out of control, right? I don't know. This is either finna go one or two ways, right? I mean, I want y'all to listen to what Candace said. So if you don't know, she's being sued by, the president of France. And, it's a lot of complicated things that are coming up in my mind. Now, I haven't watched her show about what her perspective is, but this is crazy, bro. I don't think I've ever seen someone in America who was a political personality get sued by the president of a country. Now, like I said, this is only going to go one or two ways. Either Candace Owens is right, and therefore this is the dumbest, most arrogant move by the Macrons, and they're going to get exposed and embarrassed, and Candace Owens, the boogeyman of France, is going to be even more popular and even more enraged, even more incensed, and saying even crazier stuff than they say she's saying now about Bridget Macron being a man. Or she wrong, and Discovery is going to reveal a lot of nasty things, and that's the reason why they did it. Now, the former makes more sense than the latter, but look, I don't know. I'm almost assuming that Candace must be talking to somebody who's saying, Candace, you good. They have no chance. They have no standing. You finna make $100 million off of countersuing the president of France. But I want y'all to hear this video of Candace, because she don't give a, I just want to say that. And I'll put this out here because I know I talk about Israel and stuff, and me and Candace don't agree with the Israel stuff. But that doesn't mean that I disagree with everything she do. I disagree with everything she say. So let's play this, because I think it's important to know this is probably one of the biggest stories in American history when it comes to journalists and people getting sued over defamation from a president. Roll the clip.
You were born a man and you will die a man. That's the point I'm making. So give us a sample. I'll send my doctors to take your blood. Figure it out real quick, however you want to go about this. Hey, how about just giving us some pictures again of you growing up, raising your children? That would be fine. For whatever reason, to phone, by the way, like I said, we'll get to the bottom of it, right? That is what Discovery is for. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. You're probably hoping, oh, this will go away, and at least we'll say we sued her. We'll say we went after her. She'll probably file for this to get dismissed. I'd like to make it to discovery. I think that we owe that to the world. Anyways, you guys, we are revolting against this. We're revolting against the perverts that run the world. And I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle on behalf of the entire world. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. On behalf of the entire world, I will see you in court.
There is no way Candace can be wrong about this. There's just no way. There's just no way. You were born a man and you will die a man. Let my doctors send, DNA samples to determine if you're a man or not. I'm looking forward to discovery. You're a pedophile. And what is the Macrons thinking, though? Because I'm leaning more towards, and I don't know, I'm leaning more towards thinking Candace, this is impossible for Candace not to be right about this. It is impossible. I think this would, if somehow Candace wasn't right, this would be the end of her career.
What is that?
Yeah.
That's a weird relationship, man.
Well, she was his teacher.
If it was a she.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole,
There's a whole,
thing.
Bro, Candace Owens did 5 hours on it.
Well, that's a little bit crazy.
Well, yeah, she's the wrong dog to go after you.
Right.
But the Bridget Macron one is the craziest because I think she's right. Obviously, I don't know. But at the end of the day, the first thing you have to say is, what kind of a 40-year-old dates a 14-year-old?
Right.
That's crazy.
Well, that's the thing.
Even if it's a woman and a man. Macron's married to a man. A man who slapped him in a private jet.
Oh, my God. Really? Dude, his whole life he's been abused by that guy.
Face palm in his face. I want to know. Take a test. It's not hard. If I was her, I would say, listen, you okay? Mm-hmm. Let's take a chromosome test. I am not a man. I'm just a pedophile.
Yeah. What?
I know Candace enough to believe that there ain't no way. Candace ain't dumb. Candace is the biggest troll on planet Earth. She will never lose an argument, even if she's wrong about the argument. She ain't never losing the argument. I just want you to know. Me and Candace have argued before, and I think she was wrong about some stuff, but she ain't never losing an argument, right? So with this situation, I don't believe that somehow she's making this up. She said, let's go to discovery. She said, do a DNA test. She said, show pictures of when you were raising your kids as a child, in their childhood. If you ask me, there's no reason unless what they want to do is disclose these things in discovery and try to make Candace look bad. It's the only chance they got to survive. If they don't have evidence, they are going to lose this lawsuit. In a lawsuit, a civil suit, you have to have the preponderance of evidence, and the burden is upon the person who filed the lawsuit. Candace really don't have to prove nothing. She don't have to defend anything. They have to prove that she defamed. They have to prove that there were damages. They have to prove that she was wrong and inaccurate in acting outside of good faith. They have to prove that. Candace don't have to prove anything. Candace don't even have to show up and say nothing if she don't want to. She can make a declaration against what they said, but she don't really have to prove anything. If they have no evidence that Candace is lying or that Candace is being deceptive or that what Candace is saying is not true, they don't have a case. Anybody can file a lawsuit, but they're not going to have a lawsuit to file. And when you lose a defamation case of this magnitude, the countersue has to be insane. So we shall see. I'm rooting for Candace. But this is going to be the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life if the Macrons are lying. Why would you file a law? You watched the documentary that Candace put out about, I think it was Discovering Bridget or something like Becoming Bridget. The attorneys in France have looked at the documentary. If the documentary is true and there's unequivocal evidence that it's true, they are better off just not mentioning it. Let the world think it's a conspiracy. Let the world think your wife is a man, and who cares? If your wife is really a man and you are going to make the decision to go after Candace Owens when Bridget is a man, I think he won't be no longer the president of France. This will be the worst blunder in the history of existence of the Macrons. There's no other way out of this.
Bridget Macron, as you know, has a libel trial against Natasha Ray, who made the claims that the French First Lady was born a man called Jean-Michel Trogneux. It's due to take place imminently, and we will get to the bottom of this. And I'll bet you, why don't we have like £100,000 bet that it establishes beyond any doubt to a charity of your choice and mine, $100,000, make it dollars, right now, that it is established beyond any doubt that she was born a woman. Do you accept that bet?
Make it rain, Piers. Make it rain, okay? Because look, first and foremost, 100,000 pounds. Can we look up what that means in US dollars? Let's see what that, $136,000. I'll round it up. Let's round it up to $1 there. 136,000 US dollars are mine, Piers. I'm not gonna let you get away with this.
They better be right, because Candace finna sweep the floor with him. And Candace got a viral shirt that's out with Bridget being a man on there. This is finna get crazy. This is finna get crazy. I'm just saying, it's finna get crazy. Somebody's career is gonna be over at the end of this. Anyway, I love you guys. Comment in the comment section. I'm out.